Hello and welcome to Diana's Makerspace. I just had an interesting thought. I was watching YouTube and I saw the a video from Age of Aquarius, the second version of it. But it's interesting when I was thinking about that. I was thinking about a few years ago, in around 2008 or so. A friend of mine, we were in the library and we used to do little side bets. We used to bet each other lunch at McDonald's. So one of the questions was, a friend of mine says, well, this is the age of Aquarius. I said, well, I said, no, it's not. I said, well, if I'm wrong, I'll buy you lunch at McDonald's. If you're wrong, you buy me lunch at McDonald's. So we went up to a reference library, and she smiled when he asked the question. She says, well, actually, when is the age of Aquarius? And this is 2008. So she looked it up and she says, well, that's odd. The age of Aquarius starts in 2012 when the Mayan calendar is supposed to end. So now it's 2025. We're actually in the age of Aquarius, and I put some links on the Age of Aquarius music list just to show a few things from Billy Jack and Fifth Dimension and others. But the reason why I thought this is interesting, though, is um, when the Fifth Dimension sang the Age of Aquarius in 1969. I remember seeing that at Ed Sullivan show because I was coming back from a cousin's wedding in Pennsylvania, and what happened was basically we got home in time to watch the Ed Sullivan show, and I remember my sister, myself, my parents, we all watched it. We on a 27 no 32-inch Sylvania color TV. It was a big solid state thing, a very heavy, very big console, and I remember when we were watching it because I heard that as we were on the plane, they played part of the Fifth Dimension on the plane ride home like that, which was sort of different for that period because basically many times they sort of tried to stay away from popular music, but they actually played that on. So when we came, we actually saw the live performance. And when I think about with the Age of Aquarius, and the song basically is supposed to be love abounding, peace and understanding. And what happens, we do have this partially in the society, but there's still a long ways we have to go, especially basically how we treat each other and how we treat others on internet. And even with the disparity that exists in the economy because of what happened when technology went amok in '99 like that, though. So when I think about the Age of Aquarius, I still have hope and I still keep spirit. Another thing I think about when I think of Age of Aquarius, a few years ago, I was at my alma mater, Parkside. I was visiting. I come and visit the campus every so often because that's my place of meditation. Where I like to go to because it reminds me when I was younger and how I felt back then as a place of meditation. The campus coexists with nature. And one time I didn't realize they had student days, so they had a group of students come with their parents, and I was out, instead of walking inside the building to another building, I was walking on the grass, and I had my sandals and my socks, and so the parents said, well, who's that hippie walking walking on the grass? And I remember a friend of mine said, well, actually that's Diana. Says when she transitioned, she became a hippie and a Republican. And one person would have gasped. And it's like, and what happened was I still consider it funny because basically a lot of hippies weren't Republicans. They actually, a lot of hippies actually did support transgenders. Actually, the Flower Children, who were very liberal and supported transgender and LGBT before the hippies did. And so I couldn't help chuckle. I broke out a big belly laugh and chuckled. And the one person looked at me, put his arms up, and like, and finally someone said, "Well, let's just go onward." And what happened later? I got to the library. It got to the library. A friend of mine asked us, "So, did you?" I said, "No. I just like to walk out in nature. I mean, like when Professor Gash and Kevin, we used to do our in botany, we used to do a nature walks through the forest with Elmer Lenish. We used to do nature walks with Professor Lenish. And Parkside actually has a prairie where basically they used to do a controlled burn every year, because that's how prairie rejuvenates is basically through fire. You do a controlled burn, and the seeds rejuvenate, and they had to stop it because basically the last time they did, they had called the fire department because some of the professors didn't or someone didn't know how to do it right, and so they no longer do it. But they used to be an annual tradition in Parkside in the spring, a controlled burn of the prairie around Parkside to rejuvenate it. And so I mean, when I think about it, though, it's like, well, people start to say, well, they think about the age of Aquarius and they think basically about, maybe some people were off, but no, actually they weren't. Because what happens, so you have to, it's better to work with people, it's better to work peacefully with people, and it's better to think about how to solve things together. We do more when we solve things together like that, though. So when I do think of age of Aquarius, and also another video comes up like that, though. Well, the one I was trying to, when I find out, put on, it showed scenes from Woodstock and showed families, young families, and there were young families with the kids at Woodstock actually enjoying the experience, and it was very peaceful. But the point is, it also showed how, contrary to what people thought at the time, the young families were very good parents to their children, and that's an important point because basically, family and continuation of generations is important. When in closing, though, when I do think about what we really need to do in this society. We really need to get back to where we actually work together and talk more together. It's not just on Zoom, not just on Facebook, not just on internet, but basically actually meet and talk. Meet at a coffee shop, meet at McDonald's, meet at Wendy's, meet someplace you like to meet. I mean, like yesterday, a friend of mine, we started. What happened? A friend of mine was interested in getting some groceries, and we're in a different part of the city scene where we normally don't go, and we stopped in a Mexican market and restaurant. We had some wonderful tacos, and we had and our friend was amazed at all the stuff that they actually had, the real Coca-Cola, the real Mexican Coca-Cola, like that, though. And what happened was the tacos were very big and very nutritious like that, though. And then we went over to a wig store where I bought a new wig, which you saw me wearing in the last video, and then basically we had lunch, and we had another lunch, and we headed home. But the thing is, it's an interesting experience when you go out and see different things, like because I've seen this restaurant across from many times, people going in. I said, well, let's go inside and see what it's like. And very nice couple, very nice family that runs it like that, though. Remind me of some of the old stores in my old neighborhood, family stores like that. That two of them that were run there, and also a drive-in that was run there like that too. That's what we need to get back to, because basically, really, if people think about the age of Aquarius, it's not about the radicalism. It's about people working together. It's about people solving things and also working through the differences. Not everyone's going to agree the same way. Not everyone's going to think the same way. We're going to have arguments, because sometimes when people ask me, sometimes I'll dribly just say, "Oh, I'm a Republican," and I do that because I say, "Well, I want to see what they actually say, see what they do. If they walk away in a huff, I can see, well, if they really weren't interested in knowing what my opinion was. They wanted to know if I would comply what they want me to comply to. But if someone actually stops and says, well, why are you Republican? What makes you think a Republican? They're willing to chat. That's a person that basically really cares and understands. But someone just says, well, and someone says, oh, parent walk away or something, or someone says, oh, I'm a Democrat, and they walk away. Um, Again, that's closed mindedness. Closed mindedness. That's really not a way how to solve things. We're not going to think the same. We don't listen to the same music. We don't all want the music that's all monotonous, but we do have certain things we share, and we do have certain standards we value. So that's what the age of Aquarius is about: is actually moving past our differences, living with our differences, and moving on and forward. But socially and culturally, it's not just about technology. Because what happens if technology advances too fast, then basically a society can destroy themselves. And in 1969, it's worried about nuclear. Now the worry is about AI. Now that's why many of us are trying to sort of push back, going back to the 80s and 90s to help reset the pathway. Because since '99, some of us have felt that basically what has happened in the technological world, and especially since 2008, have gone too far and have gone out of balance. Well, let me know what you think. The best way to reach me, as I said before, is on YouTube, Twitter, X, Pinterest, and Facebook. Please remember, sometimes it takes a while for me to respond, because some days my health is very good, some days it's not. And today my health is a lot better, so I've been able to make 2 videos today. Well, thanks for listening, and I'll talk with you soon.